Hi, my name is Fedora and I'm a travel enthusiast. Today's video is all about getting your driver's license in Jamaica as a foreigner. I've gone through the motions, I've made the mistakes so that you do not have to make the same mistakes as me. I travel to Jamaica often. For that reason, over time, I was just like, you know what, let me just get a car. And with the insurance I got, they gave me 6 months to get a Jamaican driver's license. They still use my foreigner's driver's license, but over time it will not be valid for the insurance. And for the government too, they don't give you 6 months, they give you 3 months to get your Jamaican driver's license if you're driving with a international driver's permit or your foreigner's driver's license from whichever country you're from. And so regardless, eventually you will have to get a Jamaican driver's license if you plan on driving around in Jamaica. The process is tedious. Let's keep it at that. That's why I'm making this video, so that you have everything that you need to go through the steps easily. Let's start with what you'll need. The documents that you will need in most of the steps, right? So you'll need your passport, your foreign country's driver's license, and a TRN. Alright, so what's a TRN? TRN stands for Taxpayer Registration Number, and essentially it's a card that you'll need for if you want to open a bank account in Jamaica, if you want to buy a property in Jamaica, if you want to open a business in Jamaica. It just is something that you need for many transactions that you want to operate throughout the country. Anybody can get it. You can be a foreigner and get it. If you're Jamaican, you need it. Like, I don't think any Jamaican doesn't have a TRN, unless you're living off grid, to be honest. But it's really simple to get a TRN, and I think that was the step that required the least amount of energy to carry on, honestly. How do you get a TRN? So you go to a tax office. Each parish has a tax office. So you can just write on Google tax office and then whichever parish you're in. So you go in, you go to the information desk and you say that you would like to apply for a TRN. Then they give you the directions to go there. They'll give you a form to fill out. Make sure that you have, again, your passport with you. Passport is something that you'll need to carry most times when you're going to want to fill out any form. Then you go and you fill out the form. In return, they'll give you your TRN number right then and there. So you don't have to wait any time. They'll give you your TRN number on a piece of paper. That's just to make it official that you officially have a TRN. You'll need to pick up your TRN a few weeks after applying for your TRN and getting that paper I was talking about. Even if you don't have the actual TRN, the actual card, if you want to apply for a driver's license, if you want to apply for purchasing a property, for getting a bank account, opening a full account, for internet or whatever, like you need TRN for a lot of things. So you can still use the piece of paper. It is valid. You have an official number. So that number that's on the paper is the number that you give those institutions. So that is the first step. So now that you're still at the tax office, take this time and go back to the information desk, or you can ask when you come in. You can say, I want to apply for a TRN and I want to pay for the driver's license examination fee. So you're killing two birds with a stone when you go to the tax office. Right now, the fee is $3,240. It's subject to change. Like, I'm filming this in 2024. I don't know when you're watching this, so it's subject to change. Just make sure that you bring your card, credit card, debit card. I'm not sure if they still take cash. You can bring both. So yeah, you pay your fee. This fee is what you will need to present to the examination depot once you're ready to take your test. Examination depot is where you will be taking your test. So just write examination depot and then your parish. Alright, so now that you found your local examination depot, bring with you your passport, your foreign driver's license, and your TRN. So you tell them you'd like to get a date to pass your driver's license test. You already have your foreign country's driver's license, and you would also like to have the documentation that you will need to present when you're ready to pass the test. So this is the application form. So the date that it'll give you is about, in my experience, it was about 3 to 4 weeks from when I went to the depot and requested for a date. So that gives you ample time to gather the information that you need to fill out the application form and present it to them on the date of your test. Because there are many steps for you to get through with the application form, this time is actually ideal. So I say that because the application form requires a medical examination, so you'll have to go to a doctor and get examined by the doctor. They just do a medical scan and they fill out the form, they sign it and everything. Then the other part of the form is a form that will need to be filled out by a justice of peace. A justice of peace, honestly, I'm not too sure what they do. They kind of just attest that you are who you are. A lot of documentation in Jamaica needs to be kind of certified by a justice of peace, or a JP for short. If you don't know any justice of peace, you can ask around. Most people have had to get something signed by a justice of peace, so they'll recommend you one. Like I said, you need a justice of peace to do many things here, so most people know one. There's one in your local area for sure. They might charge you, they might not charge you. If they charge you, it's not a crazy fee. Yeah, just be prepared to bring a few thousands with you, but it's not going to be anything crazy. So along with the form that the justice of peace will have to sign and stamp, they will also have to sign and stamp 3 passport pictures that you will have to take and present them with. So in summary, you will need 3 passport pictures signed and stamped by a GP, your form that will be signed and stamped by a GP, and a medical examination form that will be signed and filled out by a doctor. You can go to a local clinic, you can go to a public clinic. Public clinics are kind of hectic. I would advise to go to a private clinic. The fee that they charge to fill out this form, for me I think it was 3,500. Again, it's not really that expensive, it's just you have to, there's so many steps. The test consists of 3 different components: a written component, a yard test, and a road test. The written component, just know that they will make you read a sentence and write a sentence, right? Because you have to be able to read to have a driver's license. It's a requirement, which makes sense to me, honestly. It's nothing crazy, like they just make you read a sentence out loud and you have to write a little sentence, like a few words. And then you take the written test, which is a technical test about about the road codes. You'll have road signs that you'll have to identify, like road etiquette that you'll have to show that you're knowledgeable about. So this is all multiple choice questions, and the passing grade is 70%. So you have to have 70% of your answers correct. If you do not pass this, that's where your test ends. You'll have to get another date, study again, and do it again, right? If you pass the written test, then you move on to the yard test. Before moving on to the yard test, I would like to give you a recommendation. I recommend wholeheartedly studying the Jamaican driver's guide. It has all of the road signs that might be on the test. It also has some information about your road test, right? The instructor on your road test will ask you to perform certain techniques that are included in the Jamaican driver's guide. So it's good to study that. It also has some practice questions, and it also has some rules and regulations basically for road code and road etiquette. So all of this information will be in your test. Like, not all of it, but I mean the test is pulled from this guide, right? So study this front to back, back to front. This will be your best friend. If you don't want to study it, I mean, it's your choice. If I didn't skim through this or even study this, I would have failed the written test. I can tell you that for sure. Alright, so now that you pass your written test, you move on to the yard test. The yard test is in 3 different parts. So you'll have to show that you're capable of going up a hill, stopping like right before kind of the plateau of the hill, stopping the vehicle, and then starting it back without the vehicle going backwards when you're going up the hill. After that, you'll have to show that you're capable of reversing securely. You have to reverse through kind of like a squiggly lane without touching any cones or stones. And then once you've completed that successfully, you'll move on to parallel parking. And this is where it gets really technical. This is where me personally, I went in the test blindly. And this is why I recommend getting an instructor. I could not emphasize this enough. I went through the unit test 3 times before passing my exam, right? I mean 2 times before. The 3rd time was when I passed my exam. So because I was like, I've been driving in Jamaica, like everything's good. I've been driving in Montreal. Like I have almost 10 years of driving in Montreal. Why do I need to get an instructor? I've been parallel parking in Jamaica. I've been reverse parking in Jamaica. I've been reversing, going up hills, parking on hills. I've been doing all of the things in Jamaica, right? Why do I need an instructor? So I didn't get an instructor. I went to the test. Blindly, all I had was a Jamaican driver's guide, which helped me for the written test, but it didn't help me for the guide test. It did not help me for the guide test. So the parallel parking is extremely technical. If you don't have the tricks and tips, unless you're a pro parallel parker, which I am not personally, they give you a specific amount of time. I think it's 5 minutes to do your parallel parking on both sides. The distance between the wall and your door has to be 1 foot or less, and the vehicle has to be straight, right? If the back of the vehicle is 1 foot and then the front of the vehicle is more than 1 foot, you're not passing. So it has to be as straight as possible. And like I said, you have to do it under a certain amount of time, and you have to avoid touching any of the cones. If you touch any of the cones, you're out. And you have one chance, right? So you do this. Once you've cleared like your parking, you're satisfied with it, you honk, then you go to signify to the examiner that, you know, this is your final park. Then you go and you do the other side. You honk again to signify to the examiner that this is your final park, and then you come out of the vehicle. If one side is not good, you're out, right? If you did the left side, you honk, the examiner is like, this is over 1 foot, you're out. You can't do the next side. If you do the first side, you're good. The next side, you're over a foot, you're out. Both sides have to be within the parameters that they've set up for you. And I failed twice. And then the second time, the examiner was like, do you have an instructor? And I was like, no, because I already have my license, I have my international, blah, blah, blah. It was like, no, you need to get an instructor. How do you expect to pass the test without an instructor? So that lets you know it is imperative that you get an instructor. I didn't get an instructor for like 10 lessons. I'm not a beginner, so like I didn't need to know how to drive, right? So I only got an instructor for 2 days. So one class was, I think one class was an hour and a half, and the next one was an hour and a half too. So 2 different days I did that. And thank God that the examiner told me to get the instructor, because the parallel parking is so technical, and even some components of the road test are also very technical. So get you an instructor. They will show you the ropes, they will show you the tricks and the tips and everything for you to successfully complete your test. If I didn't get an instructor, I wouldn't be making this video right now. I would still be trying to figure out how to pass this test. I can tell you that, and I can promise you that. For one day, it was like, for an hour and a half, it was $6,000, because essentially like you're renting the instructor's car. For me, it was like a van. He told me it's better to pass the test in a van, because that gives you the license to operate big vehicles like a van, or smaller vehicles like, you know, like your little Toyota Corolla or your Nissan Blueberry, you know, right? So I don't need to drive a van, but in the case where, you know, if I'm moving or anything, it's just with my house. I was like, okay, fair, I'll do that. I will leave the information for my instructor in the description down below. I don't even think he remembers me or anything, but he was a really good instructor. He's the one that made me pass. Like, if I have any credit to give, it's to him. And true Caribbean fashion, if you do go with him, kind of expect to be yelled at. I'm Haitian, so that didn't really faze me. But if you're not used to that, prepare yourself. Like, it's not like screaming, like, you know what it's giving? It's giving football practice, you know, like it's giving sports practice, Coach Carter kind of vibes, right? So it's like, it's nothing malicious, it's just how they are. So if you're not used to that, if you prefer a gentler approach, don't get him, but he gets the job done. All right, so now that you have passed your yard test, you've passed the hill, you've passed the reverse, you've passed the parallel parking, yay, you're good to go. Then they will have you do the road test. So the road test, another reason why it's imperative to get the instructor, is because although it is in your Jamaican driver's guide, it's kind of hard to understand. Honestly, like, I did see it when I was studying the book, but I didn't understand Like once I did it, I was like, oh, this is what those pictures are. Okay, like this, right? So this is what you will have on the road test, and that's where the instructor comes in clutch, because he will show you the many ways that you can do this, right? You have different types of intersections where you might get tested on. So the instructor will show you the different ways to do it. They know essentially whatever is going to be on the test. So that's why it's kind of like, yes, you're paying for the lesson, but you're also paying for the essential tips and tricks. And I think that's good money invested. So once you go on the road, you do everything that's required of you, and you pass the test. You go back to the examination depot. They say the examiner will tell you if you pass or if you failed. They tell you you pass, then you have to wait, and then you go back inside, and they will give you a date for you to pick up your driver's license. Mine was, I think, a couple of weeks after, so maybe like 2 weeks after. That's when my date was. So once you get on that date, you go to your tax office. So make sure you bring your passport, your driver's license, your current. All the 3 things I mentioned at the beginning of the video, always bring them with you everywhere when you're in the process of applying for your driver's license. Even if they don't ask you for one or the other, it's just good to have, because you don't want to not have one document and then you have to go back home all of that, right? And you'll also need 1 passport picture. Normally when you go and get your passport pictures, like they do them in pairs or 4s. So if they get 4, you'll have used the 3 at the beginning of the process. Remember when you had to get it signed and stamped by the JP, and you should have 1 left back. So that means that you can take that one and bring it with you to the tax office on the date where you will claim your driver's license. So you go, you say that you want to claim your driver's license. They give you your driver's license, and you have to pay a fee. I forget how much the fee is, so just make sure you bring enough cash with you, or bring your card. I say card is safer because I'm not sure if they still take cash. And then that's it. You have your driver's license, and you can drive in Jamaica for however long. And the driver's license, I will put on the screen how long it's valid for. I believe it's valid for 4 years. I hope this video was very helpful, and remember, please get the book, and please get an instructor. If you want to see just how it is the first time, you can get the book, not get an instructor, and try to get through the yard test. Maybe you're going to watch videos or whatever that can help you. But like I said, I think investing, even if it's just 1 lesson with an instructor, I think it's very beneficial. So yeah, I hope this video has been helpful, and best of luck to you on your test. Let me know in the comments, if you have any more questions, if this video has helped you in any way. And yeah, wishing you an amazing day. Take care. Bye. I'm sharing this. Oh my god, I can't speak. Like, bruh. Jesus. But yeah, so I had experience with